Welcome to Unit 1, The Principles of Journalism, Overview and Gathering Sources. In this video, we will define the idea of principles, present an overview of the 10 principles of journalism, and look at all the principles that a journalist needs to think about when they are gathering sources. First of all, it's important that we understand what a principle is. A principle is a fundamental, a really important truth that is the basis of something. So, the principles of journalism are the things that journalists have to remember to do all the time. There are 10 fundamental principles of journalism. We'll cover these principles over the next 3 videos. The first 2 principles, verification and objectivity, are important for journalists to remember when they are finding their sources or information. The next 4 principles, originality, completeness, transparency, and fairness, are the principles that a journalist needs to remember when they are telling the story, meaning when they are actually writing their article. The final 4 principles include restraint, humanity, accountability, and empowerment. These principles are about how journalism can impact people, meaning how people are affected by the articles that a journalist writes. Don't worry if you don't understand these words right now. We'll cover all 10 of these principles in detail in the coming videos. Let's start by talking about the principles that journalists need to remember when they are gathering sources, meaning they are talking to the important people in a story. For example, if there was a car accident, a journalist needs to talk to the people who actually saw it happen. We call these people eyewitnesses. When the journalist is talking to these people, they are gathering sources. Another example is when a journalist wants to know more information for a story, and so they go to a library or research online. This is also gathering sources. Okay, so now we know what principles are, and we also know what gathering sources means. Let's talk about some of the important principles that a journalist needs to remember when they are gathering sources: verification and objectivity. The first important principle is called verification. This is when journalists make sure that the information they get is accurate or true. How can they know if their sources are true and accurate? Well, let's look at these 2 ideas. Being accurate means always having the correct facts, such as names, dates, places. When a journalist gathers sources by speaking to a witness or researching documents, they should always make sure that they write down the correct information so that it's accurate when they use it in their article. We'll talk about how to take accurate notes in future videos. How can journalists verify a source to know that the information they get is accurate and true? It's not always easy, but they can consider these things. Is the source primary? Meaning, is it original? If we consider the car accident we looked at earlier, an eyewitness is a primary source, while someone who just heard about the accident is not. Does the source have expert knowledge? For a car accident, an expert on road safety or an automotive engineer would be a good source of information. The second principle is objectivity. This means reporting the facts without favoring one side or another. However, objectivity can be difficult to define. A journalist must think about the weight of evidence, meaning that they should gather many sources, and if most sources say one thing and very few say the other, they should give more importance to the majority view. A journalist should not give equal time or weight to an opinion based on facts that are clearly not true. So, in this video, we learned what a principle is and that there are 10 principles of journalism. We looked at the principles of journalism that have to do with gathering sources, verification, and objectivity. In the next videos, we'll learn about the other remaining principles of journalism.